I really want to hear a little more of Jackie Kennedy's voice. Can I hear a little bit of that lilting, incredible? What I like most about Jackie Kennedy's voice, not only is it feminine, I mean, it melts you down. She's so sweet, it's unbelievable. But this was a woman who was like, what do they call that, the steel magnolia type? You know, don't assume that a woman who speaks like that is necessarily weak. She understood what she was doing, obviously, but it's so incredibly soothing to hear a woman speak like that compared to these hard you-know-whats today. Man, what are women always trying to, like, be cocky and compete with men? Yeah. Oof. But you hear that sweet voice, and I love the New York accent underneath it. I really love that New York thing about Jackie's voice. It is so unbelievably beautiful. Let me hear a little Jackie for a minute.
And then this tablecloth is new. It's a gift to the White House from the firm of Porto. And it's all embroidered
this
in
tablecloth. See, when I talk like that, you think that I'm low class or have a New York accent. She speaks with the same accent. This tablecloth. Don't you understand? This is how New Yorkers speak. This tablecloth. Even my children laughed at me. They grew up in California. They get a kick out of my New York accent. They don't understand that just because you speak with a New York accent doesn't mean that you're low class. I mean, you could be low class. So what? That's better than being high class today. Take a look at the high class people in the banking industry, what they did to the country. 1-800-449-8255, Indianapolis. Michelle, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Hey, Michael, I think you're being a little too kind to Michelle Obama. I really don't think she weighs 137. I think she's about 160.
Oh. Yeah, I try not to mock women's weight because that's a sensitive issue for many women.
I agree with you about Jackie's voice. It's great. I'm glad you played that again. She's got
everyone's forgotten. This woman, although she was obviously, as shrewd as they come and as hard as nails, look who she married, JFK, and then she married Onassis. This woman was tough as can be and probably as smart as anybody. But she was this soft, lilting. I mean, I don't think women could pull it off, that kind of thing today. Do you?
No, she showed just a hint of vulnerability, and you just don't get that with Hillary.
Oh my God! The worst curse that ever hit America was the Year of the Woman in 1994 when they entered Congress. We were told that it would be a kinder, gentler Congress. Just look at Barbara Mikulski.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Is there a kind, feminine woman in Congress? I don't know. Let me hear one more, Jackie. I'm actually having a good time. I'm having a nice time today in the Savage Nation. I hope you are too. You want to talk about light cruisers, heavy cruisers, carriers, rear admirals, or Jackie? Let's hear Jackie.
There are three of them in this room. The two behind us here.
Yes, these two are on loan from the Boston Museum of Fine Art. All three pictures in this room are by Healy. There's Thomas Jefferson, a copy after Stewart. And then there's Daniel Webster.
I remember when she was around. Remember when she was around? I mean, I really dug her when she was married to JFK. They were like the beautiful couple. I was a young guy. He was role model for everybody. And by the way, by today's standards, he'd be a raging conservative, incidentally. JFK was a raging conservative Democrat. I don't really care about the affairs. It doesn't matter to me. It means nothing to me. What matters is that this guy was a borders language culture American. Take a look at the garbage we've had in America since him. But she was an incredible. I mean, everyone loved both of them. I mean, very few but really sour people who hate everybody couldn't love those two. But what happened is after he died, and I don't want to go through that. Please, no conspiracy callers. Please don't call about the tower and the watchtower and this, and that, who killed him. I really don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about... Then when she married Onassis, I was very upset because he was so ugly, man. I mean, like, here was my first lady basically lowering herself to this Greek shipping tycoon who looked like, he ran a remnant store in Brooklyn. It doesn't mean he was a low class, but, it bothered me. I like the patrician element, the whole Camelot thing of the Kennedys. And then when she went for the money, I didn't like that a lot. That was sad. Then they had terrible tragedy in their lives afterward. When you actually think about it, the Kennedys have had terrible tragedy in their family. The Onassis had a terrible tragedy in his family. I mean, I don't even want to relive it. This woman was almost sort of Black Widowy in terms of what happened around men in her life, You know about Onassis' son dying in a plane crash. That was the end of Onassis. His heart was broken. His son flew his own plane. The kid was a beautiful, handsome Greek god type of kid. Flew his own plane. Playboy type of guy. Died in the plane crash. Onassis' heart went out of his body at that point. He never came back from it. Same thing happened to Dean Martin. His son died in Vietnam or in a training incident He was enlisted in the Air Force. He was training and died. That was the end of Dean Martin. He could never sing again. I mean, these things happen. But, you read these things. You got to understand life to understand anything about this. Otherwise, you're just dealing in symbolic wordology rather than human beings here. Now, I don't know where you want to go on the show today. I am having a nice time, and I intend to have a nice time. In fact, I may have a nice time for the rest of my life on the radio. Ratings be you-know-what. But, I want to talk about ratings for a minute. I just got my ratings from the fall book. I'm going to give you one in San Francisco. Despite all of the talk, I beat all of the other talk and news stations in that market. Everybody got beaten to a pulp in the 25-54 ratings. You're not going to read that in a local paper because they despise me. They want you to think that I don't exist. But let me tell you something. I made this prediction before, and I'll make it again. I said it about people in the media when I began. I said I'll be on the air long after they're gone. I could count on both hands now how many of them have disappeared. And I'll make the position again. The same people with the people in the business and newspaper business who hated me, made believe I don't exist. I'll be on the radio long after you're collecting an unemployment check. When you're still collecting your SDSI checks, the crazy checks from the state of California, I will still be broadcasting, giving people news, views, and reviews. I'll make that story up? No, that's a reality. 15 years didn't come from nothing, Buster.
And Mrs. Kennedy, on that fireplace, just under the mantel, there's an inscription which I found one of the most moving things in the White House.
Yes, that's from the very first letter that was ever written from the White House. It was written by John Adams, the first president to live here, to his wife Abigail, when he'd only been here 2 days, in November 2nd, 1800. And in it says, I pray heaven to bestow the best of blessings on this house, and on all that shall hereafter inhabit it. May none but honest and wise men ever rule under this roof. It was Franklin Roosevelt who loved that prayer and had it put on the mantelpiece.
Amazing.
Thank you, Mrs. Kennedy.
See, now that's Jackie Kennedy, and she was, I would say, one of the greatest first ladies in my life. I don't know who really stood up to her. The rest were, they did the standard, charity work, book, library, and no one paid attention to them, which is not knocking them, but, what did they really do? This one everyone paid attention to. That woman was a presence. She was a presence. I don't have to knock Michelle Obama to say that Jackie Kennedy was a presence. And let's put skin color aside if you don't mind. I'd really rather not go there. Michelle went to Princeton, Jackie went to Vassar. But as I said, mentally, Jackie was raised to be a socialite while Michelle was raised to be an anti-socialite socialist. Huge difference, if you don't mind. So let's focus on it, On that, if you want. I knew the women would like this part because one thing I know is how to get the women. The women cume goes up when you start bashing women or supporting women. No, we don't do enough about this. Why can't we talk about first ladies and styles? Isn't that sweet, saccharine voice or what? Does it still play? If a woman did that today, would you buy it? Or do you really want a hard, tough chick? Like, chick, like a roller derby chick, you know what I mean? Like it should beat a guy up. So all these years of working out, and I don't know, the food must have changed. Like they look like post-op transvestites. A lot of these women look like post-op transvestites today. I don't understand it. And they're not all into that. A lot of them are normal. I don't get that. Or why? That upsets me. Why do they have to? Why is it when a woman gets gray hair, they have to shave it off and look like they worked in Auschwitz? They look like they worked in like Bergen-Belsen. What is that? Look. Who finds that attractive, that the creeps? What's wrong with a little long gray hair? Plus, you throw a bottle on it, whatever. I don't know what the shaved head is with the women over a certain age. But I'm just rambling on about women now, the media and Michelle. Why? Again, they're comparing her to Jackie. I don't think she's a Jackie. And I don't think she's going to come up to Jackie's charm level, personally. But that's the least of our problems. The bigger problem is that we have a naked Marxist for president here. And anyone who studied history understands this. Europeans understand this. The Cubans understand this. But apparently the American dope doesn't get it. They don't get it. Ben in Chicago, do you get it? Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me on, Mike. As far as the comparison between the two first ladies, I don't think there is much of one. As far as Michelle goes, there's absolutely zero respect that I sense from her towards America or the American people or pretty much anybody else in the world. I mean, you look at the 2 gifts she got for the Prime Minister from Britain, gave to his sons. It was, 2 $4.99 helicopters she grabbed from the White House gift shop.
Oh, my God. Didn't they remove the bust of Winston Churchill from the White House, these two?
Yeah, they probably threw that on the back of their plane on the way out.
And then she gives the Queen of England an iPod?
Oh.
What is this? It's like a Walmart presidency.
Absolutely.
Who gives the Queen of England an iPod? I never saw anything like this. I mean, it's like a low-rent district White House all of a sudden. Maybe they would have given, certain tools for barbecuing in England or what? Like a barbecue set with an apron to the Queen?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, what's next coming from? Well, look, the bigger issue is their politics, which is it's Castro Prime.
Savage.